Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor, and it's a real pleasure for me to be sharing this video series with you. What I'm going to be doing here in this series is sharing some insights that I have gained from studying the laws for the last 40 years. I've actually been studying it a little longer than that, but specifically digging into the laws for approximately 40 years. And this series on the law comes from work of Raymond Holliwell, just an incredible human being. And he begins this work by asking a question. He said, the question uppermost in the world of thought today is whether a person has the capacity, equipment, and power to control their life. Whether we can be what we want to be, or whether we're just a drop in the ocean of life. Millions are affected by unemployment, poverty, and want, and we know that. Do we have any control over our life? You know, he goes on to point out that a fatalistic belief is contagious. And when a person submits to its influence, believing that circumstances around him are stronger than the power within him, that person is defeated before the race is even run. See, in the history of the race, in the biography of man, there's a long list of evidence of man overcoming circumstances and meeting his problems in life. Now, I've experienced this myself, and I'm certain you have. You know, I go back to 1961 when I first began to study any of this information. I had no formal education, I had no business experience, and I just wasn't doing very well. I was earning $4,000 a year. I owed $6,000. I seemed to have problems all around me. And I was completely controlled by what was going on in my life. It never entered my mind that I could actually change everything that was going on in my life. And I was fortunate enough to meet a man that saw something in me that I wasn't capable of seeing in myself. And he got me studying Napoleon Hill's work from Think and Grow Rich, which led me into Andrew Carnegie's material and then a host of other authors. But you see, I was 26 before I ever read a book of any kind. Now, I could read, not well, but I could. I have since found out that I read about as well as most people. I think the average person reads at approximately a grade 7 level. And that's because we learn to read by the time we're in grade 7 and never improve upon that skill from that point on. Today, I have a magnificent library of books I've read, and I have a desk, a little table sitting right in the center of it, and my mind is surrounded by just phenomenal information. But that wasn't the way it was when I was first introduced to this material. I was totally convinced that I was the victim of circumstance. You know, George Bernard Shaw spoke on that. He said, people are always blaming circumstance for what they are. He said, I don't believe in circumstance. The people that get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstance they want, and if they can't find them, they make them. Well, you see, that's pretty well what this series really points out. Let me touch on another highlight that really caught my attention. The author said, if all conditions are the result of actions, and all actions are the outcome or the fruit of our ideas, then our ideas must determine the conditions in our daily lives. An idea is a thought or a group of thoughts, and an idea is an image or a picture in the mind. There must have been an idea, a mental picture back of every well-known achievement or invention. Now think of that for a moment. How about the medium that we're communicating through right now? Here I am standing in a studio, talking to a camera. And now there you are at home, probably watching this on your computer. That little box, that little thing that maybe you stick in a briefcase, that has more power than the computer that carried the first man to the moon. Where did these ideas come from? How did they happen? Do you know where they came from? They came from the mind of man. Dr. J.B. Ryan said the mind is the greatest power in all of creation. Now, I have quoted Dr. Werner von Braun on The Secret, and I've quoted him in any number of films that I've done. And he said the natural laws of this universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships, sending people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. You see, to my way of thinking, after studying this for a relatively short period of time, it only makes real good sense for you and I to start to understand these laws and then attempt to bring our life into harmony with them. And I'll tell you this, after years and years of study, the better job you do at that, at bringing your life into harmony with the law, the more you're going to enjoy life. You can enjoy abundance. You can enjoy great health, meaningful relationships. You can have virtually anything you want if you work in harmony with the law. But you violate it, and your life is not going to be a very happy one. You will not enjoy good health. Poverty will visit upon you. I like the way my good friend Mark Victor Hansen puts it. He says, money comes where it's invited and stays where it's welcome. But you see, that's people that are living in harmony with the law. Let me share something out of Raymond Holliwell's great work. It's a highlight that I really enjoy. He said, every architect and builder follows the same plan, whether they're building or planning a house, a bridge, an institution, or their own life. Every person is his own designer and builder. Like the Creator, they make their creations within before they materialize without. All fears of sickness, poverty, and old age are impressions, ideas, and mental pictures long before they become the painful realities. Every idea and mental picture must produce after its own kind, whether the picture is good or bad. The law determines it too. You see? The law does not question or challenge the kind of picture we give to it. It only knows that it must take what is offered or planted and then proceed to materialize it in visible form. Now, he points out some people can visualize great engineering achievements, yet they do not know that by the same method they can overcome their disease and despair and enjoy health and happiness that they long for. Isn't that wild? Now think what he said. Some people can visualize great engineering achievements, but never understand that by exactly the same method, they can enjoy health and prosperity. Mechanical engineering is the same as mental engineering. They are both dependent wholly upon a creative intelligence. Mental photography, like mechanical photography, produces exactly what it sees. A picture of a homely, unsightly person never turns out to look like a beauty pageant winner. Nor does the little short person look tall and large on a photograph. A picture of black will not be white. Neither can a negative, destroying idea produce constructive and positive results. If the ideas are negatives, well, they will turn in and create negative results. But so will the positive ones. Now, before I bring this to a close, I want to just share the last highlight here that really struck me. And I want to encourage you not to just go by this video series. The video series is merely the peak of the mountain. It's just the cap of the iceberg. There's so much depth in this. As you study into this, you're going to suddenly become aware of the phenomenal power that resides within and without. And you can start working with it to create the good that you want in your life. The author said, as we assimilate in mind these ideas or mental pictures, we knowingly or unknowingly exercise a power to produce them. See, what's ever going on the inside is going to show up on the outside. James Allen, way back around 1903, he said, we think in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. Well, this author says this creative process continues working night and day until the idea is completed. We cannot picture thoughts of poverty, failure, disease, and doubt, and expect in return to enjoy wealth, success, happiness, and courage. It just can't be done. Any more than the photographer can take a beautiful picture of a homely creature and then hold a picture of a beautiful person. You see, that same concept is true. When we begin to see positive things in our mind, you don't have to know how they're going to materialize. You only have to know that they are. What goes on inside shows on the outside. That's based on one of the first primary laws of the universe, the transmutation of energy. Energy is forever moving into form, through form, and back into form. And being a creative being, you and I can entertain thoughts, and we can produce results. As a matter of fact, the very next video in this series is on the law of thinking. I want to thank you for looking at this. And again, I want you to encourage yourself to dig into this in great depth. This series that you're getting can literally change the course of your life. This is Bob Proctor.